Good morning. Welcome to the garden. Oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful morning out here. But I'm actually out in the garden dealing with, oh my gosh, Japanese beetles. Just such a lot of Japanese beetles showing up seemingly everywhere recently in my garden. Got them all over the Gara here in the middle of this bed, which is not ideal at all. They're all over some of my fruit trees. They're all over actually the strawberry plants, oddly. So I have asked for everyone's advice over on Instagram of what would be the best thing that have worked in a practical, your practical experience working with Japanese beetles. A lot of people say traps, so I need to go out and grab some traps. Also, I've heard that soapy water or spilling the Japanese beetles into soapy water may work, and also neem oil. So up by the house, I have been doing a lot of the like jars of soapy water and just trying to shake them into it. But I'm going to try back here on the Gara some of this neem oil. I don't like to use a lot of sprays in the garden. I do use BT occasionally, and this is really my first time really using neem oil. So I just picked up this already pre-mixed neem oil. We're gonna try to see. It's supposed to affect every life cycle of the Japanese beetles. I'm spraying it here in the morning. Now you do have to be a little careful with neem oil that you don't burn your plants. So doing it like in the evening, or I'm gonna do it early in the morning here and see if this will help. I don't know. It can be really frustrating when you have a pest issue like this that comes up in the garden, for sure. And one of my recommendations is just try to get started with pest methods as soon as possible, rather than like waiting. So we're gonna try the neem oil out here. I'm also curious to try using some like soap and water spray. So I think I'm gonna try that up on the patio where I have a huge pet problem with them right now. And then of course there's always just like the hand removal of them into some soapy water. So I'm going to keep you posted. We're going to follow this progress over the week so that you can kind of see how this works over the week, and we'll see if we can kind of like at least do some damage on the Japanese beetles. So I've got the neem oil here. We just put it on the Gara. I also just sprayed it on some of the strawberries up in the green stalk planter up on the patio. And I will, check back in with you and we'll see if we can't get a handle on this. All right, so this is the damage up here on my green stalk, but I just sprayed it, and look, I just sprayed it with, this is just an old bottle that I had, but it has just some Dr. Bronner's and water, just very diluted, but nice and foamy. And I've been out here spraying all of them. And this one, I can see they're actually falling down, and it looks like this might be doing the trick. They have just, look what they've done to my strawberries. I mean, just crazy. So I didn't notice, I had sprayed these with neem oil and they had still come back and were still eating on them. But now I'm just spraying with the just soapy water. And I think this might be working the best of anything. I'm gonna have to try this tomorrow on all my other plants, but this might work. All right, so I wanted to check back in. It's been a couple days and I've been alternating between, just hand picking off the Japanese beetles as we go, as much as I can, spraying neem oil, and just spraying my little soapy water solution. I'm telling you, the soapy water is winning out for the Japanese beetles. It's the only one that I feel like is actually, I need to get a new spray bottle, but it's the only one that I feel like is actually like killing them on the spot and not just sort of, the neem oil seems to like slow them down, but I don't know, it's not doing you know, it's not actually just like getting rid of them, but the soapy water seems to be working. I need to take this soapy water mixture out to some of the other areas of my garden and get spraying them. You know, the one thing about it is that it seems to be getting rid of them on the spot. So it seems to be pretty much working quickly. It doesn't seem to be hurting the plants. I mean, this is just like Castile soap, Dr. Bronner's. It's nothing, you know, you can wash your vegetables with it. So I feel pretty good about having it on the plants, and even on things that we might eat. I can just wash them. It's no big deal. So I'm not worried about that. Now, it's not something like, you know what's nice about like a BT or something is that you spray it on the plant and then it like continues to work. And so even when you're not, you know, even when you're not like actively out there spraying, it's still working and it's still acting on the bugs. Of course, this is something that it's like, it just, you have to actually spray the bug directly. It's not going to do anything preventative. So I do need to kind of look into what I can do preventatively to help protect the plants, but at least this is working and easier than trying to pull them off and get them into soapy water, which I have been trying to do too. But the thing about that is that I find that the Japanese beetles are like onto me, and as soon as I come out, they all fly off. And so I'm only able to get so many into like the bucket of soapy water. They kind of like, I think their defense mechanism is kind of like fall down off the plant. If you've been dealing with them, I'm sure you know that. And so for me, I've been having a hard time. Maybe I need like a bigger tray or something of soapy water to spill them into, but it just hasn't been working. So just the spray bottle with the soapy water has been working. The neem oil theoretically was going to actually help with more of like that preventative measures. So actually, you know, making it so that they can't come back. Like it's supposed to interfere with the larva stage and the egg stage and everything. So I don't know. I may kind of keep up with some spraying of the neem oil, and maybe that will work as like a maintenance level, preventative sort of maintenance. And then I just use this as more of like a fast acting. I also need to get a new spray bottle because the tab on the spray bottle isn't working, but maybe I use this as like my just on the spot treatment. And we do work them together. I don't know, I'm gonna keep working on this week, keep working with it, and we'll see. Good morning. Well, the heat wave is in full swing. I'm out here watering this morning. The garden's doing okay, but today is actually, we're getting record heat. It's gonna be 102. So that's pretty crazy. That's gonna be kind of wild. We'll see how that goes. Just watering everything down. I watered sort of like late afternoon yesterday, which probably was, you know, not the most ideal time. I think that the biggest thing with a heat wave like this is to water both when it's good for your garden, but also when it's good for you, because you also don't want to get overheated, and it can really catch up with you when you're weeding and stuff. All of a sudden you realize like, oh my gosh, it's you know, you're starting to get too hot. And so I figured this morning is probably going to be cooler. If it's going to be 102 by like 4 p.m. today, then probably watering in the morning is like the best time for me. I actually usually like to water at night, as I said, but we're just going to do it today. But look how good the garden's looking. So this is the herb bed. I'm kind of calling this like the front garden, the kitchen garden. I'm still not entirely sure. I'm having a little identity crisis with the garden. But here is the herb bed, and look how good the basil looks. I think the basil really loves the heat. It is doing really well. Actually, the sage is doing well too. And these sunflowers that I have, these are some like teddy bear Sinfinity sunflowers. They're starting to actually really pick up. Of course, you've got chives in this bed as well. And we've got these boxwoods that are doing, actually really like coming on now. They've been in the ground about a month. I'm gonna eventually hopefully have like a really cute little boxwood borders in different portions of this garden. And they're starting to put on some new growth. So eventually it's just gonna get like a little owl in the corner of boxwood, which I think will be really nice. And then we've got this bed over here. So my butterfly bush I moved, you can see, it's recovering. I need to come out and deadhead. I need to water. Well, not water. I do need to water. I need to weed. There are some sweet potatoes though in this bed that are starting to put on some growth. Again, like everything is just now kind of starting to do its thing and just now really taking off with some growth. Here in this bed, again, look at how nice the boxwoods are looking. Again, I need to weed. But the Angelonia is kind of like coming in here. We've got some of that pink cushion flower that I planted. And then those are my melons, which are now taking off, putting on some blooms. My peppers this year have done terribly. I have just had the worst luck with peppers. They are not, I don't know. None of my peppers really are doing well at all. They all look pretty bad. It could have been because it was cold and now of course it's hot. So I don't know, maybe they'll pick up again, we'll see. I planted these green beans too close, so I think that's why they don't look good. And I need to deadhead the yarrow, but you know, you do the best you can. Then this is one of my biggest surprises. These are my spoon tomatoes over here. I thought for sure that they would like really take off, and I think they're going to now. They've been kind of slow, but you can see we've got the first little baby spoon tomatoes coming in. So that's good. And of course the Gara is super pretty here. And I did actually transplant this really pretty black and blue salvia in here. So that also is gonna take off. There's some zinnias over here by the boxwood. So I gotta water that. And then this bed, again, like my squash has done terribly. So these, you know, squash should take off. It's done nothing. I think I actually just pull those out and re-sow some squash and see if we can't, after the heat is done, so I don't have to worry quite as much about watering, re-sow the squash. My potatoes over here are they're kind of like dying back. So I gotta check and see if they actually produce any potatoes. At least the asparagus looks good. So at least the asparagus looks like it's fine. There's actually an elderberry over there that I gotta make sure I water. Okay, more peppers that look terrible. I don't know. I actually have gotten, there's a couple, like I got a couple peppers off these plants. They just don't look good. But what I'm excited about in this bed is I got some chimney rudbeckias. Those are perennials, so those won't really do anything until next year because they won't have time to grow. But those little chimney rudbeckias are gonna be so awesome. And we got the potatoes, more potatoes, but these look better. Those are doing better. And then there's some more melons back here that, you know, I think they're gonna start like picking up now, and that'll be good. I went ahead and put the raspberries in these beds, and I'm gonna keep building up those beds. These look really nice. These are the, well, I need to come spray them, I think, but these are the Calver-colors, and they always look good. The Japanese beetles on my roses, the John Davis roses. The Japanese beetles are just having so much trouble. Then over here, the okra, this is long pod okra. That is happy in these temperatures. And that, I know I shouldn't be overhead watering, but it's just where we're at right now. Some squash, there's some amaranth in here. And actually, one of my pumpkin on the stick eggplants actually is taking off. So I'm so happy to see that. That is really great. And these are some salad more cucumbers that look really nice. This is the autumn touch amaranth, so that's good. More peppers that look terrible. I don't even know why I'm watering them. And then we got some perennials here. And that, I do have an eggplant that I'm gonna go ahead and probably harvest pretty soon. Let's see, over in this bed, we got some squash. Again, not doing well, although there's some pole beans that are doing okay. I did plant this cleome to give this bed a little bit of something. And there's the asparagus. I saw some rabbits out here sniffing around the asparagus, which was not happy to see those. Then we've got in this bed some little cherry tomatoes, and actually the zinnias in here, I think these are like some orange, queen lime orange zinnias. These are actually looking nice. My potatoes did all the way die back, so I gotta dig out and see what happened underneath them. And I've got some glow artichokes that are actually looking really beautiful. Here's a little keto mini sunflower, and Moon and Stars watermelon. So those are starting to vine. I'm gonna let them trail this way. That's gonna be exciting to see how they do. And some cosmos, which I forget the variety I planted there. Now I have gotten a few tomatoes off of these plants. Got a whole bunch in here, which are gonna be great. A bunch of green beans that are about to start flowering. They're starting to harvest soon. Really gonna be happy about that harvest. And then I've got some corn, a tromboncino squash, and some dried beans in this bed. So I'm excited to see how that does. So there she is, a little mini tour while I water, put the gate back up. Hopefully this heat and the summer weather that follows is actually going to make that whole garden thrive. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk again soon.